In this video, you will learn how to save data in Roblox using Data Store 2. So if you want to learn how, just keep watching. First, what you want to do is insert a script in the server script service. And then rename this to player data. Now you want to create a function called player added. Now we need to connect this to the player service. So get the player service. Players.playerAdded, connect, player added. Now what we need to do is add the player argument and then create leader stats. Now we need to add money. Let's create an int value, name it money, and parent that to leader stats. Now that we have our leaderboard, we need to insert Data Store 2. Go to the toolbox, search for Data Store 2, and insert the one by CampF Karen. Once it's inserted, drag it into server storage and rename it to Data Store 2. Now in our script, we need to import this module. So we need server storage because that's where Data Store 2 is located. Now we need to require Data Store 2. Now we're going to create another function called setupStat. And this function is going to take in a stat, which is an object, the name, the player, and the default. So now what we need to do is get the store. So Data Store 2, name, and player. So how this works is name is usually the name of your stat. So let's say money. And what this will do is this will return the store. And you have to put the name as the first argument and the player as the second. And then under here, you go saved data equals store : get. And here you can pass in a default parameter. We want ours to be 0, but we just want to use the default parameter, so that's customizable. But for our case, we want to be able to adjust the name, so we're going to use it as the parameter. So now we're going to load the saved data. So you want to go stat.value equals saved data. If money's value changes, we want to save that. So stat get property changed signal, and the property that we want to detect when it changes is its value. So we put value in here. Now we want to connect to this function and go store : set stat.value. So what this will do is save this to our data store. So this is where we load the data and set it. And then every time it changes, we save it. So now we want to call the setupStat function for every stat we have. So I just have money, so pass in the money object, lowercase money, that's what it's going to be called in the data store. And then the player to save it for and the default value. So if there's no data saved, the default value will be 0. Now, in order to test it, it won't save in Studio by default. You have to add a bool value, name it save in Studio, and then set the value to true. Now you want to go into game settings, go to security, and check enable Studio access to API services. Now let's test our game. As you can see, it defaults to 0. So what we're going to do is switch it to the server, adjust our money to 300, go back to the client, and stop the game. So as you can see, our money changed. Now reload again, see if it's saved. And as you can see, our money saved. And after all that, that is how you save data on Roblox. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Later.